welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking a look at another puzzle by the Indian constructor Samantha Mukherjee. And Samantha's been making some amazing puzzles lately, and this apparently is yet another one. This is called Thanks, where the word thanks is spelt with an X at the end, I'm guessing because there are a plethora of X's in our grid. And although the rule set's quite lengthy, I think all of the rules look completely standard. So I'll read them to you in a moment and then we'll have a crack at the puzzle. A couple of things to mention first. I need to say a very happy birthday to Munjin Chowdhury's father down there in Australia. Now Munjin, you didn't tell me your father's name, you just told me that he was a Star Wars fan. So I'm going to call him Darth. Now Darth, I hope you have a very happy birthday, and I probably should have spoiler alerted that. But no, never mind. You know what I mean. If you're a Star Wars fan, you'll know what I mean. Next, I want to share with you a very, very funny tweet. It's quite, I mean, Twitter it can be the most awful place, but very occasionally it makes me laugh, and this appeared on my feed today. I don't know why, but I did lol when I read this. It amused me no end. So it's a story about a Member of Parliament, Thomas Massey, who was introducing a motion to change the name of Christmas to Christide on the grounds that Mass is a Catholic festival inappropriate to a Protestant country. He was interrupted by a member opposite who asked him how he would like to be called. So tidy. The bill was forgotten in the uproar. Now, my brief research on this suggests this is an apocryphal tale. It's not completely certain it's apocryphal, but whether it's apocryphal or not, it's still very, very funny. So whoever came up with that, well played. That's very amusing. Well, shows you my sense of humour, maybe. Now, anything else to mention? There was something. Yes, of course. Earlier on today, we released a new setting video. So those of you who are interested in getting into Sudoku setting, none other than Tall Cat has made a video for us. We released that this morning at 10 o'clock UK time. The comments on it have been fabulous. So yeah, check that out if you're into Sudoku composition. Otherwise, just the usual stuff, of course. Have a look over on Patreon. We've got some wonderful extra content over there. Thanks so much to all of you who support us. We really do appreciate, and it does keep the channel going. Now, let's get on with Samantha's puzzle. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Along thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. So that means that I've only got 2 thermometers. So if you put a 3 in here, this square has to be higher than 3. It doesn't have to be 4. You can skip numbers out. You just have to make sure that the thermometer increases as we move along the bulb end, a bit like mercury would increase as the temperature rises. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. So all of the cages are confined within their boxes today, so we don't need a rule that tells us that digits have to be different within cages. But these 3 digits, for example, they sum up to 20. So you could put, what could we put in there? 4, whoops, try to hit 4 and 7 is what I was trying to put in. 9 plus 7 plus 4 equals 20. That would be a legitimate way of filling this 20 cage. Cells separated by an X must contain digits summing to 10. So those 2 digits have to add up to 10. These 2 digits have to add up to 10, etc. Cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits. So normal crop key rules here, these have to be consecutive. So if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2 to be consecutive. If this was a 2, this could be a 1 or a 3. Cells separated by a black dot must contain digits in a ratio of 1 to 2. That just means one of the digits has to be double the other digit. So if this was an 8, this would have to be a 4, because it couldn't be a 16. There is a knowledge bomb for you. Not all possible dots, X's are given. All that means is it's perfectly possible, for example, for this to be a 1-9 pair and add up to 10. There doesn't have to be an X between cells that add to 10. It's just that we know specifically those 2 cells definitely do add up to 10. Etc. The cell with a grey circle contains an odd digit, that's that one, so that's odd, and the cell with a grey square, that's that one, contains an even digit, and that is the completion of the rules. So yeah, quite some rules today, but nothing out of the ordinary. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. I say as usual, but we have got a lot of new subscribers at the moment, so if you are new to the channel and you're wondering what's going on, we release 2 videos every day. One at 8:30 UK time, one at 11 PM UK time by Mark, yeah, you can always play the puzzle. That's one of the things that we're proud of on the channel. You get to play the puzzles that you can watch the videos about. And you can play them on whichever device takes your fancy. The software should work on mobile, it should work on your desktops as well. And it is marvellous. And let's get cracking now. I get to play. So how shall we start? We shall start with the 7 cage because I know something about that. That must be 1 plus 2 plus 4. Which means now these are both on X's. Look, so that can't be a 1. Because this cell would have to be a 9, and that will break the rules of Sudoku. So that's got to be 8 or 6. And this has to be 9, 8 or 6. So, okay, that doesn't immediately seem to do anything, does it? We've got these 4 20 cages going round this ring here. It's not a Phistomefel ring. I don't know of any geometry that can avail us with that sort of pattern. Let me just think about this for a second or two, or possibly 3. Wow, I mean, I suppose my first thought here is that, oh, there must be a 9. That wasn't my first thought. My first thought was that actually, although we've got lots of little bits of information, the information is very bitty. It's very hard to see how to actually deduce anything certain from it. And I've just noticed this 20 cage here, it doesn't have an 8 in it, so it must have a 9 in it. And that's because if we didn't have an 8 or a 9 in it, the maximum 3 digits could add up to would be 18 with 7, 6 and 5. So there must be a 9 in one of these 2 cells. So that means 9 in box 3 has to be in one of those 4 cells, because we can't, if you're going to put a 9 on a thermometer, the only position you can put it in is the very tip. If we try and put a 9 here, this digit would have to be higher than 9, and that is going to give us a big problem. And I really can't see what to do. That normally means it could be some sort of set trickery we're going to have to think about. I don't like that though, I really don't. I'm not seeing that. Come on, Simon, have some sort of intelligent thought, man. We can limit the number of cells 1 can go in column 7. 1 can't go in these 20 cages. 1 can't go in the tip of the thermo, so 1's got to be in one of those 3 cells. That's no, and that's not even the same for 2, because 2 annoyingly is even, so can escape down at the bottom here. So 1 is restricted to 3 cells, but 2 can be in 4 cells. Can't put 2 in the tip of the thermo, because obviously we go 1, and then this would have to be a 0. Yeah, okay. No, that's actually nonsense. What I was about to say was total nonsense. Good grief! I'm so sorry if you're all shouting at your screens now. I would well understand it, because I'm not spotting what I have to do at all. There must be an 8 or a 9 or both in here. There must be an 8 or a 9 or both in here. I'm sure it's something to do with these 20 cages. So to use those, or maybe it's these banks of X's. Can we do something with... No, you can't do anything with banks of X's, can you? Because, well, I suppose you know there's no 5. Okay, there's no 5 in these cells. So the 5 in box 1 is in one of those, and the 5 in box 9 is in one of those. And the 5 is not an even digit, so 5 is in one of 2 dominoes in box 9. So one of these 20 cages doesn't have a 5 in it at least. But that's not even a big restriction. Because even if we knew that, well, we do know there's a 9 in this one, but there are still 2. Well, if there was no 5 in it, then it would actually have to be 4, 7, 9. That would be a restriction. So maybe it is 5s. no, because I mean this one is under no pressure at all that I can see. This column, we've got the 1, 2, 4 triple in. I mean, that's doing nothing. Oh, actually no, hang on. Maybe I'm maligning column 5 slightly here. Well, column 5 might not be doing anything. Let me think. I am having some sort of thought now that is interesting. I'm wondering about 1s and 2s actually in these columns. Because I started to look at 1s and 2s in this column. And then I was going to say something stupid. Oh, hang on, I need to take this call. Sorry, this is the garage about my car. Sorry about that. I had to take that call because my car is in the garage at the moment and it is very poorly. And as usual, it's going to cost an enormous amount of money to mend it. But on happier notes, I think I just noticed something about 1s and possibly 2s in this puzzle, because I'm not exactly sure this is right, to be honest, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. 1 in this column is a bit limited. It's got to go in one of those cells, I think. Let's just highlight those. Now look, because of this 1, 2, 4 here, you can't put a 1 or a 2 in these or these cells, and you can't put 1 or 2 in the 20 cages. So actually in column 6, 1 is locked in one of those. And in column 4, 1 is locked in one of these. Now, this is where it might break. Because 1 in column 3 can't go in the 20 cage, it can't go in the tip of the thermo. So it almost creates a jellyfish pattern, but it doesn't quite do it. And a jellyfish is like a 4th dimension of the swordfish or the X-wing. So you might have heard terms like X-wing and swordfish before. Well, that would be a jellyfish. That would be the digit 1 only able to go in 4 specific rows of the puzzle in 4 different columns. And I'll talk about... okay, actually, I'm just going to put that back for a moment. That will take 1 out of there. Yeah, okay, right, this is in... Oh, no, this is... right, this is something. This is definitely something. Right, I want to stop. Now, this bizarre arrangement of 1s in this grid, I think is very interesting for this box. And that is because we either have a jellyfish, and don't worry, I will explain what a jellyfish is in a moment. We either have this pattern, which is a jellyfish, or the one in box, the one in this column is here. So this pattern is a jellyfish. The only other alternative is that this is the one in column 3. Now, if this is a 1 in column 3, you can't put a 1 on these X's. Okay, so let's remember that. If this is a 1, you can't put a 1 on these X's. If this is not a 1, then we have a jellyfish. We have a finned jellyfish in this puzzle on 1. And why is this? What does this mean, this jellyfish pattern? Well, to understand it, we have to ask ourselves a facetious but important question. And that question is, how many 1s are you expecting there to be in this puzzle in row 8? And hopefully you've got the correct answer to that. There will be 1 1 in row 8. If we put 2 1s or 0 1s in row 8, we have got a big problem. So in this puzzle, when we can correctly complete it, there will be 1 1 in row 8. There will be 1 1 in row 7. There will be 1 1 in row 3. And there will be 1 1 in row 2. In other words, in these 4 rows altogether, there will be 4 1s. But we know that the orange cells definitely already contain 4 1s, because in column 7 there's a 1 in one of those, in column 6 there's a 1 in one of those, in a column 4 there's 1 in one of those, and in column 3 there's a 1 in one of those. So in these rows, the 4 1s that exist in these 4 rows are in the orange cells, so they're not in those X's. Now that means that this x here, because remember the 1 could be here, but even if it's here, you can't put the 1 into the x's. So whether the 1 is here or not, we aren't able to put 1s in the x's, which means 1 and 9 are not on these x's. And that means, where does 9 go in box 1? Well, it's got to go in this domino. And that means this 20 cage is 578 because it hasn't got a 9 in it. So it must have an 8 in it, it must have a 7 in it. There's only one way to get to 20 in 3 digits if you can't use 9, it's 578. So this is a 578 triple, which means this digit, which is odd, is a 1 or a 3, which doesn't remove its ability to be the fin of the jellyfish. It's called a fin jellyfish, by the way, because it's either a real jellyfish, if this wasn't a 1, or the fin is true. That's why it gets this sort of nomenclature. I don't know if we've ever seen a fin jellyfish on Cracking the Cryptid before. But anyway, never mind that. Let's actually just work out what this has done. So, that digit can now no longer be higher than 6. So that is a 6, a 4, or a 3. And that's because it sees 9 here, and it sees 8, 7, and 5. It's not 3, because if that's a 3, this thermo would go 3, 2, 1, and that digit would be broken. So this is actually 4 or 6. So it is even. Right. So let's have a look at this column now, where we've got an even digit here, an even digit here. Now in the 20 cage, we have a 9 in the 20 cage, so the other 2 cells in it add up to 11. The only way of making 2 digits add up to an odd number is if one of them is even. So so these 2 are even, there's an even in here, and that's even by the power of the instructions. So these 3 digits are odd digits, which ordinarily would allow me to lay... In fact, I think I can get rid of my orange now. We've used the finned jellyfish. So these digits are odd now as a result of parity on column 7. All I can say there is I think there must be at least one even pair then in this. One thing to know about dominoes that sum to 10 is that they have equal parity always. It's either 1, 9, 3, 7, which are the odd parities, or 2, 8, 4, 6, which are the even parities. Now, if these were both odd parity 10 dominoes, we'd have 6 odd digits in box 9, and that won't work. So at least one of these is even. Come on, Simon. What does this all mean? If this was 4, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4 quadruple. And this would be a 6, 9 pair. And these would be known, because then we couldn't use 4, 6 or 1, 9 here. So we'd have 2, 8 and 3, 7. 2, 8, 3, 7. No, and it's all getting a bit bifurcaty then. Right, come on. I feel like that this must have been, getting this feels important, and actually getting this feels important as a next step. Maybe this digit, that's 2, 4, 6. Oh, good grief. Oh my goodness me. Right. Wow, wow. Okay, this is incredible. Let me show you this. So we just did a whole load of stuff on finned jellyfish in these columns using the digit 1. Now I want to do exactly the same again, but this time I want to use the digit 2, I think, because in this column 2 can't go on the tip of the thermo, so 2 is locked into one of those cells. I'm going to make these green. In this column, again, we can't put 2 in here or in the 20 cages, so you can see what's happening here. We're getting the same pattern, except in this column, look what happens. The 2 is in one of those cells. So it's exactly the same logic. It's sort of just been inverted. I think it is actually a direct inversion apart from the given digit. So now what we can do is do that same logic on 2s. So we can either this is a 2, which is one possibility, or if it's not a 2, then we have a jellyfish on 2s, and our jellyfish on 2s tells us there are no more 2s in these rows other than in the green squares, and that would tell us there's no 2s in here. So either this is a 2, in which case there's no 2 in here, or there's a jellyfish, in which case there's no 2 in here. So there is no 2 in here, but I just did a whole load of work that proved to me that there was there's at least one even domino, because these 3 squares are odd. And we can't have 6 odds in the box. So now I know that there must be a 4-6 in here, I think, because there cannot be a 2-8 because I can't put a 2 on the x's. Now, is that as far as we can take that logic, or is there something else magical we can do here? The answer to that is I don't know. Oh no, I do know. Oh, come on. Oh, this is superb. This is superb. Right. Okay, let's keep focusing. So the fact that there is no 2 on these x's means there's no 8 on these x's, and there's an 8 here. So there is an 8 in one of these 2 cells, and immediately then I'm looking at this 9 cage. It's not 9 cages, it's 20 cage, but it must have a 9 in it because it hasn't got an 8 in it. 7 plus 6 plus 5 is only 18. So there's a 9 in here. But if there's a 9 in here, and there's a 9 in there, then there's a 9 in my x's over here, and now I know that these x's are the digits 1, 4, well, they're 4, 6, 1, and 9 in some order. This digit is not a 9 because it's on a black dot, and you can't make this 18 or 4.5. So this is either 1, 4, or 6. So this is either 2, 8, or 3, which annoyingly I think is not helpful. Oh, right, but this has got 4, 6 on it, so that now has to be 2. I think that was available before, but I got flustered about other matters. So 8 is definitely in this domino. This has got to have 2 more digits in it that add up to 11. So it's either 4, 7 or 5, 6. It's either 5, 6, 9 or 4, 7, 9. And I've got do I need my green highlighting anymore? I'm not sure I do. Yeah, it's quite interesting actually with this fin jellyfish, because actually, well, especially now it's basically the fin has been proved to be true, but even if we went back to the 1 here, we can't use the finned jellyfish other than in the box that the fin occurs in. So, because obviously we don't know whether the fin is true or not. If we knew the fin was untrue, then we'd have a real jellyfish and we could do more liberal eliminations of 1s or more liberal eliminations of 2s. But because we don't know that, it's it's sort of limited to the box the fin is in. So I think I can get rid of my greens. Okay, and now we have to think, don't we? So do we have an easy way of making more progress here? I don't know. I'd love to know, what would I love to know now? I would love to know what's on these thermos. That would seem to be the next. Or can I do the same thing that I've done? So here we worked out there's no 1 in the x's. So we know, that's how we know there's a 9 up here. Oh, come on, Simon. Why can't I work this out? We haven't got parity going on in this column, have we? We've got an odd here. Maybe I've got to label this up. Odd here, odd here. This is a domino that adds to 11, so there's an odd and an even in there. So that's 3 odds. There's got to be an odd on a white Kropki dot. There's an odd and an even because they're consecutive digits. So, right. This does matter, I think. Yeah, this does matter. So in this column, there are 4 odd digits allocated somehow, some way between these 6 cells. And that means that if we now turn our attention to these x's, and we say how many even digits are there on these x's, they cannot be 4 even digits, because although you might immediately say, well, there could be 2, 8 and 4, 6 would work. If they were 4 even digits, then these 2 cells would be odd as well, and in this column we'd have 6 odd digits at least, and that's too many. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 are all the odd digits between 1 and 9 inclusive. So we now know that there must be an odd digit somewhere in these x's, and once you know there's 1, you know there's 2, because it's either 3, 7 or it's 1, 9. And we know the 9 isn't in here, so I know there's a 3 and a 7 in there. And once I know there's a 3 and a 7 in there, that digit has become a 1. So both fins of my jellyfishes ended up being true. Which I'm sure is very important somehow. So this is 3 and 7, and either 4, 6 or 2, 8. Is there some way we can relate this to this or this? 5 must be here, I suppose. Ah. Oh, hang on. So is that... Right, so in this column now, we've got a 1, we've got a 5, we've got a 9, we've got an odd here, and we've got an odd there, so that's even. Don't know how important that is, but we're thinking about parity, so I'm going to carry on thinking about parity. And that means that, what does that mean? I don't know. How do we do this? Again, I have a horrible feeling you're all shouting at me here because this is in some way more clearly resolved than I feel it might be. So if this is a 4 now, this is a 3 and this is a 2, and that would be hugely interesting. One of these is even. I'm not spotting quite how to disambiguate all of this. Right, come on, Simon. Use your brain. That you must be. Well, we've certainly made significant progress. We just haven't quite understood how the rest of it works. Do I have to label up my 20 cages, or is that just foolish? I suppose this one it sees a 5 in one of these two squares. So this is not 956. So this is either 938 or 947. Do I know which? I don't know. I'm not sure I do. If I knew, yes, okay, if I knew there was an 8 in here, then I would know that there was a 2-8 on my x's over here, because 8 is a bit limited. It's in one of those 3 positions. And or if this was an 8, this would be a 4-7. This would be 2 or 6. Okay, can't quite work that out either. Maybe I've got to label up this thermo. If this is a 6, this square couldn't be a 5. 5 has already gone. So this would have to be 4 or 3. Couldn't be lower than 3. So this is 2, 3, or... No, it's not 2. So this is just 3 or 4 then. If this is 6, this can't be 5. It has to be 4 or 3. And this has to be 2 or 3. So that is really restricted, actually. And 9 is over here. Ah, no. 2, 3 on this black dot. No, that doesn't do it either. Oh, here's a small point. I can't put 9 here because, of course, it would need an 8 on it. So there's a 9 in one of these two. Oh, it doesn't do anything. I don't believe it. 9 is in one of these 3 is all that's telling us. Hang on, sorry. I need to get rid of these 9s and put them in the corners. Okay. Bobbins. Now. Oh, okay. Small point again, but in this row, the 3 is not here because we know there's a 3, 7 on these x's. So one of these is a 3, and therefore we can ask where 3 goes in this column, look. And it can't go in the 20 cage, because if it does, it would have to be 3, 8, 9, which it can't be. So there is a 3 in one of those two cells. Now, that is almost beautiful. No, it is... Oh, my goodness me. Good. This puzzle is amazing to me. It's amazing. Right. This is huge, absolutely huge. Because now I should ask where 3 goes in the bottom row. And the answer to that is on this thermo. But it can't go here because that would require 2 on the thermo and 1 on the thermo, and this can't be a 2. So the 3 is not here. So the 3 is in one of these two cells, which aligns it, look, with its positions in box 1. So where does the 3 go in column 3? It's not in those 3, and it's not in those 3. So it must be in this 20 cage, which is now 938. So this is not 8. This is not 8. So 8's been forced onto the x's. So this is now 3728. Which means that 2 in this row now is not up here and is over there, and that's the only place it can go, which means 3 is next to it. Don't know if that resolves this yet. 2 is not here on the black dot, so 1 is not here. Oh, look. So once this happens, this becomes a 4-6, which must pair up with another 4-6 to add up to 10, which means that now we've got a 1-9 pair here, which places 9 in box 3. Wow. Wow. 1 has to be in one of those two cells now, and it can't be on the white dot because it would need to have a 2 to be consecutive. So 1 gets placed. 1 is in one of 2 places in box 2. And how does this matter? I don't quite know yet, but this definitely feels like more progress, doesn't it? So I've got a 3-8 pair in row 6 now, so that is not an 8 and that is not a 2. Sorry, another interruption there, this time actually about Star Wars, but Yes, well, I'm not sure how much of that you heard, but anyway, it's now sorted out. So with cars and Star Wars interruptions, you'll have to forgive me. It is, after all, Friday. Now, what had I been doing? It looks like I've been looking at this cell. What was I doing? I was eliminating a... How was I doing that? Oh, I see. Right, I've got a 3-8 pair in row 6, and that had allowed me to get rid of 8 from here, look. And therefore 2 from here. So we have not really done a great deal of damage in row 6. We have a 3-8 pair. I can't really remember what I was focusing on before, so let's do other things. What would I do if I was coming to this puzzle fresh? I would look at this box where I've got lots of digits. I need 4s, 5s, 6s and 7s. Right, and I have a 4, 6 looking at this box, so that cell is odd. That is an odd digit, which means this cell on a white dot is even, which means that's a 4, 6 pair, so this is odd. And that is very, very, very useless by the looks of things. Oh no, don't be more interruption. Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so we've got a 5, 7 pair. We have got... We don't know what's in this 20 cage, do we? It needs 2 digits that add to 11 that are not 3, 8 or 2, 9. So it's either got 5, 6 or 4, 7 in it. So 5, 6, yeah. So there is a virtual 4, 6 pair between these 4 cells. Oh, which is not interesting because we've got a 4, 6 already located in box 9. How annoying. We've got the same problem in this 20 cage. We've got a 3 in one of these. If the 3 was here, this would have to be a 1. That would put a 1 in one of those cells. That would also, I think, be useless. If the 3 is here, we would have... Yeah, we'd have a 3, 7 here and a 2, 8 here. Oh dear, sorry, I don't know if there's something obvious I'm meant to be looking at, but it's not. It is not clear to me at this juncture. This white dot, we've got to put on it something. It's restricted on odd numbers, actually. Yeah, okay, that's a little bit interesting. What is the odd number that must go on this white dot? Well, it's not 1, it's not 3, it's apparently not 5. Yeah, okay, it's not 5, and it's not 9, so it must be 7. There is a 7 on this white dot. Which can't go with 8, so actually there is a 6 and 7 on that white dot, which means that's not a 6. And it also means that... Ah, yes, oh dear, poor buzzing. 6 in this box now, in box 1, has to go on top of the 9s, so there we go, we've got a 69. No, don't go there with your minds. Not when you're watching Sudoku. So this is now 4, which means this is a 6, which doesn't resolve my 5, 7 bobbins. 4 here means... so this 20 cage now has not got a 4, 7 in it, or a 3, 8, or a 2, 9. So I now know what this is. This is 5, 6, 9, and that is not 9. And that is nearly... Well, it must be useful for these squares, which must be a 3, 7 pair. And that must be useful for these squares, which must now be a 5, 8 pair. That must be useful. That is useful for this 20 cage, which is now not 5, 6, 9. So this is 4, 7, 9, which means that is a 6. Good grief. That's really beautiful setting. Because actually, it was this domino, it was Samantha including this domino that actually went all around the grid, all around the 20 cages, and ended up resolving its own domino. Okay, so in this row we still have to put 1 and 3 in, so we can just do that. It must be in that order, which means this is not 3, 7, so this is 2, 8, which means this is 3, 7. Which means the white, yeah, this is beautiful. Okay, so what digit are we putting on this white dot? Which odd digit? It's not 1, It's not 3, it's not 7, it's not 9, so this has got a 5 on it, along with a 4 or a 6, which apparently is not resolved, which is a bit weird. Bobbins. Okay, so now these digits are a 4-5 pair, I want to say, which means that cell's a 2. So 2 is in one of 2 places in box 8. And 8 goes here. 8 goes here, 2 goes here by Sudoku. 2 goes here by Sudoku. 4 goes here by Sudoku, which must be next to a 6 on an X, which means this is a 5. Now we're starting to cook with gas. This 4 is giving me a 1 here, so that's got to be a 9, which fixes my 9 and my 6. This is no longer a 6, which doesn't resolve this, does it? I don't think. That's got to be a 2. So 2 is here by Sudoku. And this white dot now needs to have an even digit on it, and that even digit is 8. And it can't have 9 on it, so this is 7 and 8, which is not resolved. These squares have got to be 1 and 3, which is resolved to complete that row. So this 3 is doing diddly squat, I think. This 1 is doing diddly squat. Oh, no, come on. Oh, the 7, 8 is doing damage to that. That's got to be 3. So that's got to be 6 on the black dot, making this a 4. And that is beautiful, look, because what is that putting on here? 4, 4. There's got to be a 4, 5 pair there. And I say 4, 5 because it can't be 3, 4. So this is 4, 5. And therefore this is 8, 9 to complete that box. And therefore there's an 8 here. So this is working. 8, 9, 9, 6. 4, 5 here makes this a 6 by Sudoku. That must be next to 5. That fixes the 5 and the 4. These two squares are 7 and something. 4. Unresolved apparently. Seems unlikely, but 9 is resolved at the bottom. 9, 1, 7, 3. So these squares have got to be a 2, 5, 6 triple, which is probably resolved somehow. What can we put on this white dot? Not 2. Oh, okay, and this is not 9. So this has got to either be 4, 5 or 7, 6. Oh, there's no, I tell you what, there's a 4 here. So this is 7, this is 6. That's lovely. So these are not 7s anymore. So we've now got a 4. It's resolved. It's all resolving. 9, 4. And these squares have got to be 1, 3, and 8, which is probably resolved, but I can't immediately see how. That's not 3. Oh, bother. Okay, what about those squares? Oh, there must be a 1 in this box. That's got to go here. So that's got to be a 4, which fixes my 4 and my 7 over there. 7 must live in the middle box somewhere. 3 and 8 are done. These squares have got to be 8 and 5, which is not resolved. Okay, I don't think. And hopefully something will resolve the top of the grid. Right, let's see. That's not 7. Actually, it's quite interesting, isn't it? It's not immediately obvious to me how this all finishes. It's probably something to do with... 6, yeah, okay. 6 in this box, where does it go? By Sudoku it goes there, which takes away the pencil mark of a 1 and shifts that 1 here, which means this is the 1 in this box, and leaves us with a 3, 8 pair. And now this row, this digit here, needs to be either 3, 4, 5 or 7. So it's 3 or 5 by Sudoku, and it can't be 5 because of that. So that's a 3, that's a 3, that's a 7, that's a 5, That's a 7, that's a 7, that's an 8, that's an 8, that's a 5, and that's all good, I think. So that's 5, and this is 4. And hopefully now we've just got simple digits to put in. Yeah, this is 9 by Sudoku. This is 2, this is 4. That 2 is giving us 2 and 5 here, which is giving us 5 and 8 here, which is giving us 3 and 8 here, which is giving us 5 at the top of the grid. And if we've not made a mistake, we can put the 7 and the 8 in and finish a wonderful puzzle. There you go, 80 minutes on the clock. That gives you an idea of how long this video has taken to record. But I absolutely loved that. I especially loved the break-in. It is so, well, it's so clever, frankly. It's so clever to hide this weird pattern of 1s and 2s in these columns. I think that was the way we had to break in, because there was nothing else. And yeah, it was too well designed. It's too well designed, the fact that you can miss the 1s out of the x's and that forces the 9. And here you can force the 2 out of the x's and that forces the 8, and it then all impacts on these 20 cages. This is a class puzzle, Samantha, absolute class. Let me know in the comments how you got on with it. I'd be very interested to see the feedback on this one, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.